My night started with a simple nostalgic quest for conversation hearts. It ended with a woman screaming bloody murder, a security guard making an appearance, and a shelf of butter almost becoming a casualty. All thanks to a certified Karen who apparently thought my spine was a speed bump for her shopping cart and my helpfulness was a federal crime. Seriously, I'm Cameron, and I just wanted those little candy hearts with "Be Mine" and "Kiss Me" on them. It was like 9 p.m., a perfect time for a sugar rush and a trip down memory lane. I'd hit 4 other stores, no luck. They were all out. My patience was wearing thin, but I was determined. Walmart, I figured, had to have them. The candy mecca of America. And they did. After asking a chill Walmart guy where to find them, he pointed me right to a massive display. I snagged 5 bags, just in case. You know how it is? My mission was nearly complete. I grabbed a cart and started making my way to checkout, but then I detoured by the cookie aisle because cookies. Who doesn't love cookies? As I reached for a package, I noticed the whole display table had been ransacked. Like a tornado had ripped through the Oreos and Chips Ahoy. Someone had clearly been digging through them looking for something specific and just left a chaotic mess. Now, I'm not usually one to go full Marie Kondo on a grocery store, but it just looked so sad. So I figured, why not? And started straightening out the packages, putting things back in their rightful places. I was just trying to be a decent human, you know? That's when I heard it. A screeching, "Excuse me," from behind me. Before I could even fully turn, my peripheral vision registered a woman, eyes blazing, cart barreling towards me like a deranged bull. Hump! She slammed her cart right into my back, sending a jolt up my spine and making me stumble forward. I barely caught myself on the cookie shelf, my 5 bags of conversation hearts still clutched in my hand. "What the actual hell?" I blurted, spinning around. She was practically vibrating with rage, her face a furious red. "Don't you lie to me! I saw you! You work here! Why are you messing with those cookies?" I just stared at her. My brain was still buffering from the cart assault. No, I don't work here. I was just trying to tidy up." She wasn't having it. "Don't play dumb. You're clearly trying to hide something. Where's your uniform? You just took it off, didn't you? I know you work here." At this point, I was so disoriented and annoyed, I just snapped. "Yeah, actually, we're all wearing invisible disco balls on our chests today. It's the new uniform."
"You just can't see mine because it's extra invisible."
It was a ridiculous lie, obviously, hoping to confuse her into submission or just short-circuit her brain. It didn't satisfy her. Not even a little bit. It just made her angrier, if that was even possible. Her eyes narrowed. "Invisible disco balls? What are you? Some kind of freak? I saw you lurking around these cookies for ages. You're trying to stalk them, aren't you?" Stalk the cookies? My jaw almost hit the floor. This woman was next level unhinged. I tried to explain again, calmly, that I was just a shopper, but she was beyond reasoning. Her face twisted into a snarl, and she raised her hand, aiming for a dramatic sweep to knock down a nearby display of butter. She missed spectacularly. Instead of hitting the soft plastic-wrapped blocks, her hand collided with a loud, sickening clang against the sharp metal shelving unit. The sound echoed through the almost empty store. Everyone stopped. The poor Walmart employee who'd pointed me to the hearts earlier and who'd been watching this whole train wreck unfold from a safe distance, visibly flinched. The woman let out an ear-splitting scream, clutching her hand, her face now a mix of pain and pure, unadulterated shock. The fear in her eyes was palpable, and honestly, I was scared too. Not just of her, but for her. What if she'd actually broken something? Suddenly, a security guard who'd apparently been drawn by the metallic clang and subsequent wail was striding towards us. He took one look at the red-faced woman, the disheveled cookie display, and my own bewildered expression and pretty quickly got the gist. "Ma'am, you're causing a disruption. You need to leave," he said, his voice firm. She sputtered, tried to argue, but the security guard was having none of it. He escorted her out, still muttering curses, and as she passed me and the other employee, she lobbed some choice insults our way. It was incredibly awkward, but also a huge relief. I just wanted my candy hearts and to go home. At checkout, the kind Walmart employee who'd witnessed it all apologized profusely. "Dude, I'm so sorry about that. Some people, right? Here, let me give you a discount for your trouble." He offered to knock some money off my purchase. I politely declined, but I really appreciated the gesture. My adrenaline was finally starting to wear off, and all I wanted was to get out of there. I grabbed my 5 bags of conversation hearts, my hard-won bounty, and practically floated out of the store. When I finally got home, I ripped open a bag and savored those sweet, chalky messages. Be mine, kiss me, and crazy night. Okay, that last one wasn't actually on there, but it certainly felt appropriate. It's wild, isn't it? How a simple craving for candy can turn into an epic screaming confrontation with a woman who thought I was a cookie stalker. But hey, at least I got my hearts. And now I've got a story that usually gets a lot of laughs. So, that's my tale, folks. Next time you're out, remember to be kind to your fellow shoppers and maybe just maybe wear an invisible disco ball on your chest. You never know when it might come in handy.
You think the first two were crazy, the next one's a whole different level. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more stories like this.
You will move these 30 bags of concrete to my car, mate, unless you want trouble. The man's voice was low, laced with a smug certainty that made my blood boil. Trouble, buddy, you just started a whole heap of it. I'm Jackson and I work for a carpenter. My job that day was to collect a ridiculous amount of concrete from Bunnings' warehouse. I was just trying to do my job, hauling these heavy bags on a trolley, when this guy sidled up. He seemed nice enough at first, actually. Asked for advice on what type of concrete to use for fence posts. I gave him the full rundown, bless my little helpful heart. Explained the difference between rapid set and general purpose, talked about how to mix it, the whole shebang. He seemed to get it. But then his eyes narrowed, following my loaded trolley. So where exactly are you going with all that, he asked, a hint of suspicion in his voice. Just over to my boss's work truck, I explained, gesturing vaguely towards the loading bay. I was wearing my usual work gear, old jeans, a dusty t-shirt, steel-cap boots, nothing remotely resembling a Bunnings uniform, mind you. That's when the switch flipped. Don't lie to me, son, he sneered, puffing out his chest a little. You work here. I know a Bunnings apron when I see one, even if you've got it tucked away. I just stared at him. Mate, I don't work here. My boss is a carpenter, and I'm just collecting these bags for him, see? No uniform, no name tag, just me. I even gestured to my decidedly non-Bunnings attire. He wasn't having it? Not even a little bit, he just scoffed, his gaze sweeping over me like I was some kind of bottom-tier employee trying to shirk duties. Right. So you're going to grab these 30 bags here, he pointed to a pallet of concrete bags, the exact same kind I was already moving. And you're going to load them into my car? 30 bags of concrete, each one a solid 20 kilograms? That's 600 freaking kilograms. My back was already starting to protest from the load I was actually paid to move. For a guy who insisted I was an employee, he sure wasn't asking nicely. He was telling me, and the look on his face said he expected me to jump. A spark of pure, unadulterated, petty spite ignited in my gut. Oh, you want me to move them, buddy? You got it. But not how you want them moved. I unclipped my phone, pretending to check a message, but really just getting my bearings. I took a deep breath. Sure thing, mate, I said, putting on my sweetest, most obsequious, I'm just doing my job voice, right away. He beamed, a self-satisfied smirk spreading across his face. Good. That's what I like to hear. I'll just go pull my car around. And with that, he strolled off, practically whistling, leaving me with a trolley full of concrete and a fresh new mission. When he pulled up, it was a fairly new, decent-looking sedan. Perfect. I started with my own bags, getting them into my boss's truck. Then I went to work on his 30. I wasn't just loading them, I was sculpting a concrete barricade. I went for maximum space inefficiency and strategic weight distribution. Bags stacked sideways, crammed into the footwells, piled precariously on the seats, blocking sight lines. Every single bag was placed to be as awkward and difficult to remove as humanly possible, leaving practically no room to maneuver inside the vehicle. This took a while, a good 15-20 minutes of pure, grudging effort. I even wiped my dusty hands on his passenger seat just for good measure. When he came back, keys jingling, he actually gasped. His sedan was practically a concrete tomb. There was barely an inch of visible upholstery. What have you done?" he spluttered, eyes wide with disbelief and dawning horror. I just smiled, a little too innocently. "You asked me to move 30 bags of concrete to your car, mate, and I did, exactly as you asked." He tried to get in, but the driver's side was completely blocked by a leaning tower of Portland cement. He had to go around to the passenger side, which was just as bad. "Now help me get these out," he demanded, his face already turning a splotchy red. I just leaned against my empty trolley, arms crossed. Nah, mate. You asked me to put him in? You didn't ask me to take him out. That's your job now. He looked like he was about to explode. He gave a frustrated grunt, grabbed one of the topmost bags, and immediately, thwump, it hit the doorframe as he tried to pull it out. The thin paper split with a tearing sound, and a cloud of fine gray dust erupted, coating the inside of his pristine car. No, he shrieked, as a fine, gritty layer settled on his dashboard, his steering wheel, his seats. He tried again even more frantically. Another bag, another awkward grab, another split, more dust, more concrete powder showering down. He was practically flailing, getting increasingly covered in gray, his car rapidly becoming a disaster zone. Each tear, each puff of dust was a little victory for me. The look on his face, a mix of pure fury and utter helpless defeat, was absolutely priceless. He stood there, shoulders slumped, a gray ghost in a rapidly graying car, while I just wheeled my empty trolley away. Have a good one, mate, I called over my shoulder, a genuine grin finally breaking through, and I left him there, stewing in his concrete-covered humiliation. Some people just need to learn a lesson in entitlement, don't they?
I'm a cop, you know. The words hung heavy in the air, thick with a mix of threat and pathetic desperation. His face, all puffed up and red, was inches from mine. One minute I was just waiting for my damn car. The next I was staring down a middle-aged man who looked like he was about to burst a blood vessel, all because his wife couldn't grasp a simple concept. I don't work here. Seriously, you guys, this wasn't just some run-of-the-mill mistaken identity. This was an honest-to-God, bonkers, nearly got charged with assault kind of night. Your boy Jasper here, just trying to live his best life, got caught in the crosshairs of a full-blown marital meltdown and an entitled couple's inability to cue like normal human beings. It was a Friday night, prime time at a fancy hotel, meaning the valet line was a nightmare. I just checked out, was standing patiently at the podium, phone in hand, mentally scrolling through my weekend plans. The vibe was busy but chill, mostly. Until she arrived. Let's call her Karen because, well, she just was. Karen, a woman who looked like she just wrestled a particularly aggressive Spanx into submission, stomped up to me, bypassing the actual valet guy who was juggling keys like a circus performer. Her eyes were blazing, scanning me up and down like I was personally responsible for all her life choices. Finally, you've been gone for ages, she snapped, jabbing a finger towards the bustling street. Where's my car? I've been waiting an absolute eternity. Do you know how important my dinner reservation is? I blinked. I'm sorry, ma'am, I said, trying to keep my voice even. But I don't actually work here. I'm just a guest waiting for my car, same as you. I even gestured to my suitcase near my feet. She scoffed, a sound like a deflating balloon. What do you mean you don't work here? You're standing right at the valet podium. Don't play dumb with me, kid. I've got places to be. Her voice was getting louder, drawing a few curious glances. No, really, I don't, I insisted, a flicker of annoyance starting to spark. The valet attendant is the one in the uniform over there. He can help you. I pointed to the actual, very obviously uniformed valet guy who was indeed doing his best to keep up. Well, he's clearly incompetent. This is ridiculous. I want to speak to his manager right now. Her voice was shrill now, cutting through the hotel lobby's ambient hum. I bit back a sarcastic remark about how yelling at me wouldn't make her car appear any faster. I mean, come on, lady. Just as I was deciding whether to just ignore her or tell her to take a chill pill, her husband swaggered over. Let's stick with Mr. Overcompensation. It fits him perfectly. He was a stocky guy, ties slightly askew, radiating an aura of barely contained frustration. He didn't even acknowledge my existence at first, just laid into his wife. What is taking so long, Karen? We are going to be late. I told you we should have just gotten a cab, but no, you insisted on the convenience of valet. He practically spat the last word, his face mirroring Karen's indignation, but directed solely at her. Karen whirled on him. It's not my fault, Frank. This valet here, she pointed an accusatory finger at me again, is completely useless. Won't even help me get my car. Oh, for crying out loud, I muttered under my breath, but clearly not quiet enough. Mr. Overcompensation's head snapped towards me. His eyes, initially fixed on his wife, now narrowed on me like I was personally responsible for the heat death of the universe. And just what did you say, smartass? My patience, already wafer-thin, finally snapped. I said, "You don't need to be talking to your wife like that, sir," I stated. My voice firm despite the sudden adrenaline surge. "She's just trying to get her car, same as me. Lay off her." Big mistake. Huge. His face darkened instantly. "Excuse me? You telling me how to talk to my wife?" He took a menacing step towards me. "Do you want me to go and touch you?" A weird, defiant streak in me just kicked in. "Go ahead," I challenged, meeting his glare. "I dare you." He scoffed, a low, guttural sound, then puffed out his chest. "I'm a cop, you know." I almost laughed. "I don't care if you're the Pope, pal. You're still being an absolute jerk to your wife, and frankly to everyone else here." That's when it happened. His hand shot out, open-palmed, and pushed me square in the chest. Not a gentle nudge, but a definite, aggressive push that sent me stumbling back a step, catching myself on the edge of the podium. It was quick, startling, and completely unwarranted. The noise drew the attention of the actual valet guy, who finally hustled over, looking utterly drained. "Sir, ma'am, is everything all right? I'm so sorry for the wait. We're really short-staffed tonight, doing our best." Mr. Overcompensation cut him off, still glaring at me. "This punk here is causing trouble. Get my car now." He pushed me. I blurted out, still reeling a bit from the physical contact and the sheer audacity of it. Just then, the hotel manager, a harried-looking man in a suit, arrived, clearly alerted by the commotion. He took in the scene, me, looking annoyed, Mr. Overcompensation, red-faced and huffing, Karen, looking, well, still mad, but now a bit wide-eyed. All right, everyone calm down," the manager said, trying to interject. "What's going on here? Nobody touched anybody, right? Let's just get the car." "Excuse me?" I interrupted, indignation boiling over. "He did touch me. He just pushed me backwards." And then in a twist I absolutely did not see coming, Karen chimed in, her voice surprisingly firm. "He did, Frank. You grabbed Jasper by the throat and pushed him backwards. I saw it." My jaw dropped. "Throat?" She upgraded it. Mr. Overcompensation, or Frank as Karen called him, looked genuinely stunned that his own wife had turned on him. "I did not," Frank sputtered, regaining his bluster. "I just wanted to show him who's boss." "You put your hands on a guest, Frank, in my hotel lobby?" the manager asked, his tone hardening considerably. Now he was looking at Frank with a new level of concern, the smile gone. "Look, I'm done with this," I announced, running a hand through my hair. "I'm going back to my room. Manager, I'm logging a formal complaint with the front desk right now about Mr. I'm a cop pushing a guest." "Good luck, dude." I nodded to the beleaguered valet guy who just looked like he wanted to disappear. As I walked away, the sounds of Frank denying everything and Karen now loudly recounting the throat grab followed me. I couldn't help but crack a smile, even as I felt a lingering nod of annoyance. The absurdity of it all. Frank, puffing out his chest and using his cop card like it was a get-out-of-jail-free card for being a bully, only to be thrown under the bus by his own wife. And Karen, initially the poster child of entitlement, then inexplicably my witness to the slightly exaggerated assault. When I finally got to my room, the adrenaline started to fade, replaced by a mixture of relief and bewildered amusement. I mean, who gets pushed around by their own husband in front of a bunch of strangers, only to dramatically overstate the push to a complete stranger? And who claims to be a cop just to intimidate someone, only to have their wife betray them? It was a wild night, guys. One minute you're waiting for your car, the next you're in a standoff with a guy who claims to be law enforcement and his surprisingly dramatic wife. I guess the moral of this story isn't just I don't work here, but also never underestimate the drama of a couple fighting in public, and sometimes your best witness might be the very person who started the nonsense. Stay safe out there, Redditors, and always keep an eye out for those accidental allies.
Don't miss this next video, it's a good follow-up.